I somehow lost. I could not figure out how to. I wasn't able to stop the breakout sessions. I don't know why. It wasn't in my menu.
It should be in the breakout rooms menu.
I know. It wasn't though. I don't know. Anyway. But I'm glad. So did y'all get disconnected, or is just me?
I got
It kicked me out of my Zoom.
It kicked me out.
I'm sorry, you guys.
It's all
I did
good.
that. Okay.
You're just trying to check to make sure who's still awake, right?
Yeah, I did that on purpose. Okay, so let's talk about these problems. My group was doing really well. I hope the other groups were as well. Matthew, the one you were modded?
Yeah, I worked through 2 of them. I worked a pretty good ways. I didn't do it all, but I worked a pretty good ways with them.
Yeah, and so let's go ahead and look at this. Gosh, not here. Okay, can y'all see my screen? Because something weird's happening on my side. Can y'all see it? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so first of all, we were talking about GCF, and we're talking about looking for the greatest number that will go into both or any of the coefficients, and the first one was 8. And then when we're looking at the variables, we take the variable that has the lowest exponent. And so on the first one, it was y squared. So the GCF was 8y squared. That is the polynomial, the monomial that you always put in the front. So you write 8y squared down. Don't forget about it. Sometimes people go, oh, I found the GCF, and then they just throw it away. But you have to keep it. And then you take every term in the polynomial and divide by that. And that would give you y plus 2. And then on 25, my group said that the biggest number that goes into 2, 18, and 8 is 2. But if the leading coefficient is negative, negative 2x, and that's what goes in the front, and divide every single term of that polynomial by the GCF, and that's what goes in the parentheses. And if you want to check yourself, then all you have to do is actually multiply it back out, and it should come back to the original problem.
I have a question.
Do
we always have to pick the smallest exponent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so 31, the biggest number that will go into 4, 12, and 16 is 4. And we want to take the negative because the leading coefficient is negative. So -4. And then if you look at p to the third, p to the second, and p, the one that has the lowest exponent is p. And then if you look at the second variable, q to the second, and q to the second, the lowest exponent there is q. So the GCF is -4 PQ. That's what you put right here in the front. And then you divide every single piece of that original polynomial by -4 PQ, and you end up with p squared plus 3PQ minus 4Q. So on the last part of the problems, these are 4-term polynomials. And you want to group the first 2 and the second 2. And you want to find the GCF of the first 2. What is the GCF of the first 2? What goes into U, right? So that's going to be U. So I'm going to come out down here, I'm going to write a U, and then I'm going to divide both of those by U, and that's going to give me what in parentheses?
U minus 1.
Yep. All right, then I'm going to come to the second group, and what do they both have in common?
Excuse me, can I cut in here? I'm
Yes.
sorry, I'm just a little confused here.
Okay.
So I looked at it and I saw minus u plus 6u, so I just simplified it to like plus 5u. Am I wrong?
Yeah, don't do that. And I see why you did that, because what they're doing, Michael, is they're trying to set it up for like tomorrow. We're going to be splitting up the terms. So we're factoring this by using a special method, which is by grouping. So you don't want to combine those two in this case.
Oh, because I figured that they would put a parentheses there and then just put the plus. you
Yeah,
know,
no,
so
they're
we
trying
do
to,
that.
what they're trying to do is, it's kind of like scaffolding, or they're trying to lead you into the process that we're going to be doing tomorrow.
Okay,
And so that's the point. Normally, you're right, you would combine those terms if you were simplifying it, but because we're factoring and they're telling us to factor by grouping, if you have a 4-term polynomial, then this is the way that you always do it, if it's factorable. All right, so what's the GCF of the second 2 terms?
Is it 2?
What's a number that goes into 6 and 6?
1,
Besides 1?
3, 2.
And then what else? What's the biggest number that goes into 6 and 6?
I don't know.
6, right?
Oh.
6 is the biggest. If you think of all the factors of 6, they're 1, 2, 3, and 6. And which is the biggest one? 6. Okay. And what about the variable piece?
Not variable.
No, the second one, right? So the GCF is just 6. So I'm going to write plus 6. And what's going to go inside the parentheses?
U minus 1.
U minus 1, right? Okay. So now, what do these 2 terms have in common? What do they both have that's the same?
U minus 1.
Right, U minus 1. So I'm going to put that in the front. Divide both of those by U minus 1. And what's left?
U plus 6.
Yep. That's it. Okay, and this last one. Okay. What is the GCF for the first 2 terms? What's
2.
2? And what else? Between the x squared and the x.
Oh, the X.
Right. So that's what's going to go in front. What's going to go inside the parenthesis?
X minus 7.
Okay. Okay, now we're looking at these 2 and what goes into 5 and 35.
5.
5. And always take, if there's a minus sign, always take that minus sign as well, okay? So it's negative 5. And then the x's, they don't both have an x, so we don't have to worry about the variables. So the GCF is just negative 5. And so what goes into these parentheses?
Is it X minus 6?
What's 35?
Or 7.
Yeah.
7, yeah.
Yeah. So now you'll notice, and this almost always happens when they're asking you to factor a 4-term polynomial by grouping. If these two numbers, it is possible that these won't come out the same. And if that's the case, then it doesn't factor. But I'd always check it because usually they will come out the same, except for sometimes I think they won't because they want to show you that they don't always have to, but most of the time they do. So what do these two things have in common? What do these two things in my last, what I just wrote down, what do they have in common?
X minus 7.
X minus 7, so that's my GCF. And if I divide both of these by x minus 7, what am I left with?
2x minus 5.
Yes. And that is what we are going to be working on. That's what the rest of your homework is going to be like, this stuff right here. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
I understand that 2x minus 5, but why do we put another x minus 7 next to it? Like, again.
Okay, so we had so I'm factoring by grouping, so I'm going to group these two first. And I see that the GCF is 2 and x, right?
Yes.
So that's going to give me 2x times x minus 7, right? When I factor those first two terms.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to factor the second two terms, the last two terms. And I see that the GCF here is -5, correct?
Yes.
All right, -5 times x minus 7, right?
Mhm.
Okay, then I look at these and I see that they both have an x minus 7 in common, right?
Right.
So I write that out front because that's the common factor that they both have.
Okay.
And then I divide both of these terms by x minus 7.
Right.
And that's going to leave me with a 2x minus 5.
Okay, so do we solve it from there?
Nope, just leave it just like that. That's factored form.
Oh.
Okay.
Are you going to put more practice examples in Blackboard? Like,
I can do that. Also, if oh, you know what? Do y'all want to see some more right now? Would you like to see a few?
yeah, I do.
Okay, I'll hang on. If anyone wants to hang on and see a few more, then just hang on. And I will do a few more. Let me.
I was gonna say, like, I know it's like kind of getting later in the semester and we've done a lot of work, and you're probably thinking, I can get through tomorrow without watching the lecture video. Don't. Like this, like the video for tomorrow and tomorrow's class is probably one of the most important classes in this class. Like, it's pretty big. You definitely need to watch that video before you come to class. You definitely need to be active in class tomorrow. And there's really no way to learn these things without getting your hands on them. Like, you're not going to learn them just watching us. So, like, watch those videos. Try to do it before I do it in the video. So if there's a day you're planning on skipping, don't let it to be tomorrow. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't do that to yourself.
And if you missed yesterday, that was not a great day to miss either. Don't miss any days. But yeah, you're right, Matt. Tomorrow is for sure not the day to miss.
AC method's going to come up and come up and come up again.
Okay, hold on. I'm almost there. My computer is running so slow today. If I have a virus.
I'm gonna need to get going, but thank you.
Okay, yes, see you tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I've almost got, if anyone's hanging around, for
Oh,
some
okay.
reason, it's taking me longer than I thought. But okay, I'm fixing to get this. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna have to reboot my computer, do something to it because it is really slow. Okay, so do you want to do some factoring by grouping or GCF?
By grouping.
Okay. Okay, so let's look at one like this. Okay, so the first thing we would do would be group and group, right? Group the first two and group the second two. So 3 and 7, do they have anything that will go into them at all?
No.
No. So our GCF is not going to have any number but 1, an implied 1. So x to the third and x squared, which one would you pick?
X squared.
X squared. So that's our GCF for the first two. So I'm going to put that in the front. And I'm going to divide both parts by x squared. And what's going to be left when I divide out that x squared?
3 plus 7.
3x plus 7, right? Okay, so then I'm going to look at these guys, 6x and 14. And what do they have in common? What's the biggest number that will divide into 6 and 14?
Is it 2?
Uh-huh. So I'm going to write plus 2, divide both of those by 2. And 6x divided by 2 is 3x. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So now, sorry, I've got allergies. What do these two have in common?
3x plus 7.
Yep, so that's what goes in the front. I'm going to divide both parts by 3x plus 7. And what's left?
X squared plus 2.
Yep. And that's your answer. Let's do another one.
Okay.
Let's say we have